Are you looking for motivation in all the wrong places? I was. And once I started doing this one thing, everything else opened up for me. I was looking for motivation in external sources before I started doing this one thing. And when we look at the definition of motivation, it's the willingness of someone to do something. So if it's my willingness to do something, then I wonder, why am I looking to external sources for that willingness? Why am I saying, once I learn this, then I will. Once this happens, then I will. Once Joe does this, then I will do this. Why am I saying that? I had to look to within for my motivation. And once I started looking within, and once I started doing this one thing, after I looked within for my motivation, I started doing this one thing, and I've had unwavering, that means it doesn't last, unwavering motivation. I had motivation that would ebb and flow, but it wouldn't disappear. And when it did disappear, I just had to come back to doing this one thing. This one thing had a triple effect on my life. It gave me 3 additional things. So we're always looking for hacks, right? How can we be more productive? How can we squeeze more juice out of the orange? Like whatever phrase you want to use. But when I started doing this, I used a ripple effect. When I started doing this, it had a ripple effect on my life. And there were 2 or 3 bright lights that went off. The first, familiarization. I became more familiarized with whatever it was I was trying to do. I was trying to buy real estate. I retired out of the fire department, and now I was writing the next chapter of my life. That next chapter turned out to be buying multifamily real estate. There was only one problem with that. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything about it. So I had to go out and build that education. But I was using the external force of, first I have to learn how to underwrite, then I'll buy real estate. First I have to learn my market, then I'll buy real estate. First I have to call brokers, then I'll buy real estate. I was stuck in analysis paralysis. I was afraid to take that next step. And it held me there. I was stuck. It almost felt like I was wandering around a dark room trying to find the door. And I was just feeling around in random motions. Once I started doing this one thing, it's amazing how I had the motivation to call the brokers. I had the motivation to walk properties. Because I was becoming more comfortable with the idea of being a real estate investor. It was a different type of fear, but I still had the same fear of going from the police department to the fire department. I recognized that fear again when I went from the fire department to real estate investor. That was the fear of the unknown. The fear of wandering out there into the world and not knowing exactly what I was doing or where I was going. But once I started doing this one thing helped me accept that I had to lean into being uncomfortable because this one thing led to me being comfortable. The second thing it did is it brought me clarity. Clarity is big. And clarity is big because if you don't know where you're going, how the hell are you ever supposed to get there? How are you supposed to get to California if you don't know you're going to California? right? Doing this one thing each and every day built my motivation to continue doing the one thing. It's a cycle. I can't know exactly how I'm going to get to California. Whether I'm driving, flying, walking, taking my bicycle, doesn't matter. I need to know that I'm going to California. And I need to know where I'm going to end up in the next hour, because eventually I know I will end up in California. So doing this one thing brings clarity to the whole process. And that clarity comes from actually doing the things that will help me get to my goal. In this example, the goal being California. If I want to go to California, I have to do certain things to get there. I don't need to be able to see California, but as I'm doing certain things, I know that I'm getting closer to California. Clarity comes to me. I know that I'm doing the right things. I know why I'm doing the right things. The third thing that I get from all of this is I get confidence. What you say you are and think you are, you are. Henry Ford knocked it out of the park when he said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So how do I gain motivation through doing this one thing? Well, by doing this one thing, I gain confidence. And I gain confidence because I'm doing this one thing. Why is confidence important? Confidence wipes out self-doubt. Confidence allows you to stand firmly there and say, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. Confidence allows you to shed off the people that are acting like crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket, right? Like when I was growing up down in New York City, I was on Jamaica Bay, lived on the salt water, went crabbing every summer. We'd throw little crab rings over. We'd pull the crabs up, net them up, pull them up, throw them in the bucket. We'd do this all day long. Mom loved eating crabs, and it kept the kids busy. Go catch some crabs. We'd be busy all day long, and Mom would get a great meal out of it. It was a perfect win-win. But in doing that, I would pay attention to the crabs. Like sometimes I would just sit there and watch the crabs. And one of the crabs would eventually try and climb its way out of the pail, and the other crab would drag him down. Another crab would try and climb out of the pail, and a crab would drag him down. And crabs in the bucket means that when you want to go out and do something big and you tell somebody your dreams, they're like, oh, you want to invest in real estate? Why do you want to be involved in tenants and toilets? Like, are you kidding me? Tenants and toilets? You're going to allow that to get into the way of you creating generational wealth for you, and not only you, but generational wealth. Your kids, your grandkids. That's spirals. I could start the snowball rolling down the hill and change the trajectory of the Shep name. Why wouldn't I do that? But there's people out there that will attack you for that. Not in a derogatory way. They're trying to protect you. It's usually the people that are closest to you because they don't want to see you get hurt. You have to have the confidence in knowing that it will all work out. And quite frankly, it doesn't always work out, but you have to have the confidence to know that when it doesn't work out, you have the ability to fight through that. So the one thing I'm talking about, the one thing that ties all of this together and how I build my motivation, how I keep my motivation, how my motivation is constantly driven forward is by taking action. I don't wait for the external force to tell me to take action. I go out and I take the action. And through that action, I build my motivation. Because I know that regardless of what I do, if I fall and skin my knee, I can get up and put a Band-Aid on it. I can fix it. If this real estate project doesn't go as I thought, I can fix it. I can fix it because I have the confidence in knowing that I have both the education, the proximity. I have the ability. Because I'm a problem solver. I've been a problem solver my entire life. Police department. Hello, you called the police? Yeah, we called the police. We need help with this problem. I'm here to solve it for you. That's all I did in the police department. The fire department was extremely similar. Somebody had a problem, I fixed it. The fire ground, the chief had a problem. 83, get a line to the rear. That was it. It was on us to get that line to the rear. We had to solve that problem. We had to find the line. We had to stretch the line. We had to bring the line into position. Problem solving. Every day, all day long. Manpower problems. Like, it's just problem solving. So if you get really good at problem solving, that builds confidence. I can tackle this. Hey, I can tackle this real estate thing. I had a fear of going into real estate because it was uncomfortable to me. It was unknown. And then I sat back and I started thinking about it. You know what? This isn't that bad. It's no different than what I was doing in the fire department and the police department. Different problems, but basically the same steps, right? Identify the problem, identify possible solutions, identify who you may have to reach out to. It's all the same. You just got to get out of your head. So by taking action, each and every day, waking up and doing something that gets you one tiny step closer to where you're going, that just breeds motivation. That's the soil motivation sprouts from. So I challenge you today to tell me what is one small, tiny little action you can take right now to propel yourself forward. I always use the example, if I want to run a marathon, if that's my end goal, then the one small action I can do right this second is to lace up my running shoes. That's it. I didn't say go out and run. I didn't say go outside. I said put my running shoes on and lace them up. One small action. So what's going to be your small action so that you can start crushing your goals? Guys, around here we live up top in the numerator, not down in the denominator. I want you to go out there and be unstoppable and absolutely crush your day. If you want more clarity, look right here. I'm going to give you a link to a video I did on clarity. I love spending time with you guys. Have a very, very blessed day.